Alrighty, welcome everybody, all aboard for Polar Express 4. Welcome. If you are just joining us, well, obviously the stream just started, so I don't know how you could have gotten here any earlier, but this is Polar Express 4, coming out of beautiful Aliquippa, Pennsylvania at Aurelius Athletics. This is the fourth iteration of our Polar Express competition here, put on by 580 Barbell. Absolutely gorgeous day for some lifting. You're going to hear in the background, we've got all of our athletes finishing their warm-ups for our first event, which we'll get to in a little bit here. And just as some background, this is a Strongman Corporation sanctioned Nationals qualifier show. So, your athletes, if you're watching from home, if a friend or a family member sent a link, this isn't just some heavy workout on a Saturday at a gym next to a giant eagle. This is a national qualifier competition for Strongman Corporation Nationals next year. One of the first that you're going to be able to do in this Strongman cycle. So athletes that get their invite to Nationals today are going to have a lot of time to prepare, a lot of mental rest, and a lot of physical prep time for those that are competing at the national level. Once again, if you're just joining us, we're getting started probably in a couple minutes here, and I think the live stream said we're starting at 10. So we'll start back with the intro in a few minutes here. But for those that are early, those that had notifications set up for the 580 Barbell stream, Dante Petrella Productions, welcome. You can hear in the background, athletes are warming up. Friends and family and spectators, energy is high. Christmas spirit and holiday spirit is all around. Getting our last couple warm-ups reps in for our first event, which we'll talk about in just a moment here. Everybody, if you are just joining us, we're at the top of the hour here, so we're going to get started bright and early, 10 o'clock, coming at you live from Aurelius Athletics in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. This is Polar Express 4, the fourth iteration of the holiday lifting event put on by 580 Barbell. Taken some new shape over the years, have a better and bigger outfit, have better events, heavier events, more athletes, bigger space to lift them in. So welcome. If you're just joining us, I will be your conductor today, Sean Fuller. Happy to continue to represent 580 Barbell, Dante Petrella Productions in the production of this live stream for Polar Express 4. If this is a new experience for you, if a friend or a family member sent you this live stream link, this is not just a heavy workout kind of day. This is Polar Express 4, and this is a Strongman Corporation Nationals qualifier. So we'll get into what that means during some downtime and what we're looking for from these athletes to get there. But once again, this is Polar Express 4, and we are starting with our first event, getting live here, the Max Axle Deadlift, a.k.a. the North Pole Pull. So this, if you're familiar with the world of strength sports, this is a pretty straightforward event. Who can lift the heaviest amount of weight, but it's got a strongman flourish to it. So if you've deadlifted in a traditional gym, if you've seen powerlifting competitions, it's a very similar setup. You have 3 attempts. The weight's going to continue to go up. If you miss a lift, you can no longer select weights or participate in this event. So an athlete will have 3 attempts to pull the heaviest they can. You can jump in and out of any weight. Only difference from a powerlifting competition is these are on an axle bar. So an axle bar, unlike a traditional barbell, it's two different ways that it's kind of distinct from those pieces of equipment here. An axle bar, significantly thicker than a traditional barbell. And a lot of them, it looks like these ones do not have knurling on it. So if you're not familiar with barbells, a lot of them will have knurling, which is kind of the metal spiky things that make the bar a little bit easier to grip. So these are smooth, thicker axle bars. Another difference from a traditional barbell is they don't spin. Now, if you're familiar with strength sports, that will make sense. If you're not, in traditional barbells, there are bearings at the end of each barbell that make the weight spin a little bit, so you get a little bit of reduced friction, a little bit of reduced play. And during different events, the bars, you're working with the bar, not against it. This is not the case for an axle bar. An axle bar is a fixed implement, so that means it's entirely one piece. You'll see with our athlete in the top left here, there is no bend in the bar. No matter how heavy these lifts will get, the bar will be completely straight. But this is harder for a couple different reasons. When you're deadlifting on a traditional barbell, again, depending on how heavy the weight is, there's going to be a little bit of natural flex in the bar. So that means the middle of the bar will start to raise before the ends of it, just where the weight is on each end of the barbell. Not so with the axles. Every piece of that bar is going to rise at the same... All right. Same speed. What this means for the athletes, they cannot really have a weak point in their deadlift. It exposes what you are not great at. If you're not good off the floor from your pull, that bar's not going anywhere. If you're not great after the halfway point or around the knee area, you're going to struggle because there's no more flex in the bar to kind of ramp it up the way you would with a barbell at least. So we'll get more into the event itself, but just to kind of give a lay of the land for all that are joining us here, we've got 4 different views on screen. And based on the athlete that you're trying to follow, that's going to determine where you should be focusing here. So we'll get the specific classes who are where, but from the top left to top right, to bottom left to bottom right, we have 4 lanes set up. And in that order sequentially, these are going to be lightest to heaviest. What that means for your weight classes is that the top left are going to have your lighter women's classes, and then some of our novice classes. And going to the bottom right, you'll see our open men's super heavyweight classes. So we can get a little bit more specific with who's where. But if you roughly know the size and shape of the athlete that you're trying to track, you'll be able to track them using that kind of guideline so far. And what we will do over time, too, we've got a lot of athletes today, so we'll try to call out the names as we see them. But as you can kind of imagine, calling 4 lanes of athletes, trying to get their names, trying to get each one of them called out, we will do our best over here. Especially as the event goes on, we will learn these athletes, call them out even better. A great grinder of a rep over in lane 3 that I can see here. Let's start to call out some of the folks that we know here. In lane 2, we're going to see Luke Gutwald. So lane 2 is going to be your open men's middleweight class. So those are men that do no longer compete in the novice class and are 200 pounds of body weight at the time of weigh-in or lighter. Really strong. An easy deadlift for Luke there, it looks like. He might disagree with the easy part, but it looked great from over here. Got 558 on the bar in the third lane, which also seemed like a warm-up. And in lane 4, we're already... If Gus scoots out of the way, our judge there, I think that's up 578 on the bar. My goodness.
Stick to the plan, or you can bring it down a little bit. Yeah. And then just take smaller jumps.
So you'll see in the little weight placards at the bottom left hand of each box the weight that's on the bar. So as you can see, contextually, this is heavy stuff. And we're 8 minutes into the competition. So 345 pounds in the bar in your top left here. Just not going to make it past the knees on that attempt, but he does have time. Athletes have 30 seconds to complete their lift. So that's probably enough time for 2 good, solid attempts here. Let's see if he can get his butt down a little bit further and pull it up. Just not enough in the tank for today. It's looking like in the bottom right here, we're already going to 598 pounds. Good Lord. And we'll see perennial contender James Brady in our 265 weight class, starting his attempt about 600 pounds. Oh boy. His 600-pound Romanian deadlift. It counts as a rep. He will take it. Man, oh man. We'll try to give context for just how impressive these lifts are. Like, this is already extremely heavyweight. In the top left-hand side of your screen here, we've got Amelie Flowers, another perennial contender, making 355 pounds, which is double the body weight of this class that she's in. Our women's, I believe that's middleweight, 180 and under. Calling for a bigger jump even afterwards. Might be the best way to contextualize it. These folks are lifting double plus their body weight, and in a lot of instances making it look pretty easy. I think we've got Dylan Schmidt in your bottom right-hand corner here, 598. Oh boy. Okay, that's moving pretty good too. Dylan's in our open super heavyweight class. It's a stacked lineup. My goodness. 355 in the top left hand of your screen. Got 488 coming out of the top right here. We believe that's Mike Richards, again in the 200 class. Mike's been with us for a few competitions as well. We love the athletes that are coming back. Oh boy, Mike's looking good. Nice smooth deadlift. Great work. 558 coming out of the bottom left hand of your screen. I think the bottom left, we're going to see some of our middleweight folks and maybe some of the masters. Great lift. 555. Woo! 365 looking clean and easy. Left screen here. So if you're familiar with Strongman, it's a love-hate relationship with axle deadlifts, especially depending on the height that you're pulling it from. You'll see a traditional pull, which is normal height for a deadlift. It's like 9.5, depending on the weights used, inches off of the ground. We've got Ami Flowers coming for 365 here in the top left hand. She'll roll the bar a little bit ahead of her. Oh, yeah. Ramp it up the legs. Great lift. This is moving pretty fast already today, but we'll kind of get into what you're seeing here with some of the different techniques. Like I was saying, a lot of people love or hate the axle deadlift. About 9.5 inches off the floor. Traditionally, you'll also see 13-inch pulls, which is a bit further up the shin or at the knees for some athletes. And then you'll see 18-inch pulls, which is usually past the knees for most folks too. But we're pulling off the floor today, and what that means for these athletes, they need to have a lot of speed and aggression and strength from the very bottom of the deadlift. As we said at the top, if you don't have the power to break the bar off the floor, it will not move. So you really need strong glutes, strong hamstrings, really well conditioned and strengthened mid to lower back too, to lock in and get that momentum transferred through the full lift. Got 375 coming up in the top. Oh boy. These bars are flying. These are hundreds and hundreds of pounds on each side of the bar. Our super heavyweights and probably some of our 265ers have broken the 600-pound barrier. And we're 13 minutes into the show here. Good Lord. Let's see who's stepping up first. Take a few opportunities to shout out the guys in blue, the ladies in blue here. Everybody in blue is a volunteer for today, so you'll see judges, weight loaders, scribes, all-around runners. These are folks that are taking time out of their Saturday just to help make sure this event runs smoothly. This could not happen without these folks. Just saw Dylan with a successful 618. Looked a little bit slower, but not a whole lot compared to the 598. Strong deadlifter over there. Another great pull at 578. Luke Gutwald coming out for what I believe is his third attempt at 508. That's a casual 250% body weight. No big deal. So Luke is using these straps, which are traditional deadlifting straps. Getting his glutes primed to get in the right position to pull. And up it goes. Great lift, 508. Great work. So you'll see folks use a couple different implements to keep their hands affixed to the bar as well. I don't think I've seen anybody that's just pulling, well, I stand corrected. In the top left hand of your screen, our athlete's doing a mixed grip. Oh boy. Grip not an issue for that athlete. But a lot of our athletes will use different straps, and we'll call out the different ones as we see them. Obviously, in the top left, you just saw somebody pull without straps. That was one hand overhand and another hand underhand, which does help to kind of lock it into place, but does still require grip. Not the easiest way to pursue this lift, but good on him. So you'll see in lane 2, which is the top right hand of your screen, we've got an athlete attempting 508. He's using what are called figure 8 straps. You can probably guess why they're called that. But the benefit of these straps is they're pretty easy to get on and off of the bar itself. So they loop around your wrist, then they also loop around the bar itself, creating a pretty easy contact and friction point to just basically pull your body up rather than the bar up. You know, you still want your back engaged and extremely tight for the pull. But as we can see here, it removes the grip as the limiting factor for the lift. Great, smooth lift. Starting to slow down a little bit, but I think we're getting to the top end here. Smooth lift. Now, if you keep your eyes on the same... Well, let's see. Let's see if I can get a better view here. Okay, this athlete's also using figure 8s. See if I can spot somebody using a different kind, and we'll call it out. Great pull from lane 2 here. Moving up to 638 in the bottom right hand of your screen. Woo! A little bit of a grinder, but it's still moving. I believe that's the 265 class Garrett Thomas, if I'm not mistaken. 638, a pretty strong deadlift for the 265 class. So he's got to feel great about that. Lane 2, we've got Mike attempting 528. Oh, and Mike's got plenty in the tank still. So you saw with Mike, it was really strong off the floor, and then it kind of slowed down once he got past the knees. All athletes are different, obviously. Some people are strong off the floor, some people are strong finishers. That's really just kind of determined by what strength portion of the posterior chain is in the best position. A lot of different schools of thought on this, but especially for axle, if you have a strong start, meaning pull from the ground, if you generate enough force to at least break it from the ground, some momentum, not a lot, but some momentum starts with that bar. So if you can ride that momentum up the rest of the way to the top, pushing your hips through, really pushing against the ground with the quads and locking it out, you'll be in good shape. So Ami Flowers up at the top left hand of your screen, lane 1, going for a 405-pound axle deadlift. Using that rolling start to generate some of that momentum we talked about. Able to break it from the floor, but we just need a little bit more energy. So she's rolling the bar ahead of her just to get a bit of momentum and lock those glutes into a lower position. And we'll see if she can clean that up. If she can keep the momentum going and get the glutes in the right position for this pull, break it from the floor, maybe just not enough power there today. It's still a great showing. I think that is her third and final attempt. I believe this is Ashley Brooks, if I'm reading right here. Ashley's another open women middleweight, 180 pounds with 405 pounds on the bar. Whoa! She's going to give it another go. Not enough to really crack it off the floor. It's just not happening there either. 400 seems to be kind of the barrier to break. But still a great showing. All right, be remiss not to call it out. 698 pounds on the bar in the bottom right hand of your screen, lane 4. These are your 265-pound men's heavyweights and your open super heavyweights. Looks like we've got Kyle Ruiz. Oh, he already pulled it? Oh. No big deal. Okay, so we're probably determining if we need to go up any further. 700 pounds, good Lord. Made more impressive on an axle bar. Grinder of a pull. 415, just has to lock it out, push those hips through, show control at the top. Nice lift. 415. Whew. So you're seeing the different athletes here for this event. Good Lord, with a quick pull of lane 2. The men's athletes have to take 20-pound jumps. So, for instance, that athlete, I believe it was 405, 425 rather. Next pull would have to be some sequence of 20. So it could be a 20-pound jump, could be a 40-pound jump, but it has to be one of those intervals. I'm sorry. The bottom lane 4 went from 698 to 798. So somebody's trying to make a statement here. Probably Kyle. So a 100-pound jump for our 265er Kyle. Does he have to do it? I don't know. Probably not. We don't have live scoring just yet. As soon as our scribes get it over to us. My money's on this is not necessary, but some of our athletes, as anyone should, like to game a little bit. And what I mean by that, if you come out swinging with a heavier lift by 100, some of the other athletes, if they are, we'll say, lacking in mental fortitude, will see that as kind of intimidating. Great lift at 638. Wow, 425 with that mixed grip on the top left hand. Jeez. Kyle stepping up to the bar. Now, Kyle, if I'm not mistaken, is not using figure 8 straps, so he's using more traditional deadlift straps, which means he loops the strap around the bar. It's affixed to his wrist, so his grip is still needed. Let's see what we can do here. We'll make this full screen. 798 for Kyle Ruiz in our 265 men's class. Looking to make a statement with his first event of the day here. Oh, okay. Statement made. Statement made. Good Lord. All right, 800-ish pounds is up. Let's check in. It should not go unmentioned. 638 in lane 3 and 588 in lane 2. I know compared to the 798, a little hard to beat a lift like that, but still, these are lighter athletes that are lifting ratio-wise about the same. So we're going to pull one of our lanes away here. I think one of those groups is done, and we'll get a little bit more familiar with them as the lanes decrease. Make it a little more intimate here. 588 on the bar, 638 on the bar. Both lifting at about the same pace. Oh! Just can't break the knees, both of them. Your top left-hand screen, though, 435. Great lift. Now, this is good to see, too. You kind of want to see people fail, and what I mean by that is they're pushing themselves. Obviously, this is a multi-event competition, but this is also an opportunity to kind of see how the last couple training blocks have treated you. So there is intrinsic value in finding out what you can do. Obviously, value in maximizing your points. Let's see who we've got left to pull here. All three of our bars are still loaded. We've got some athletes hanging around, so I think we've got a couple more attempts here. Oh boy, 608 going up easy for our athlete in lane 2 up at the top right here. A grinder of a rep, but a rep nonetheless. 658 in the bottom. Really great work. Athlete strapping in at 608. I want to say this is our men's middleweight class or the 200s. Wow. Really technically well executed lift. That was really nice looking. And then oh my goodness. 455 with a mixed grip, so no straps on the axle bar. Wow. Lots of impressive stuff already coming out of our day here, not even half an hour in. Once again, we'll shout out all the volunteers that are helping. They are changing weights, recording the weights lifted. We'll get the scores uploaded, and we'll talk about that in a moment where you can see them live come through. soon as we get this 678 pull. Oh my goodness. That's the kind of speed that we like to see with deadlifts. I mean, that's almost 700 pounds. And that flew. Our athlete just pulled 608, going to 628. Oh, great speed off the floor, slowed down a little bit past the knees, but still a great deadlift. I will probably get a little bit of time between these athletes here, so I'm going to shout out, if you go to ironpodium.com, that's where all of the event scoring is going to be updated. So any of the score sheets, any of the athletes, that's going to be where we live update the scores for everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, on your computer, on your phone, we've got that link pinned in the YouTube chat. Click that, keep that in the background, refresh it every now and then. As soon as our athletes are done competing at each event, we're going to make sure score is run through, we get everything updated in Iron Podium. We're seeing 485 on the bar here. Again, an athlete rolling the bar towards them to start firing some of the pieces of that posterior chain. A great executed deadlift. Looks great. Top. Deadlift is looking like 798. I think we're probably maxing out there, which is incredibly impressive. Believe we're breaking down the rest of the lanes. Maybe we've got one more attempt in lane 1 here. Looks like we're adding, we're adding more weight. So we've got somebody attempting something.
So much for 515 next. He's doing 515 just to entertain me.
A great group of athletes this time. I mean, the 580 shows, if you're familiar with the area, I mean, it's been going for years at this point. This is the gold standard for your national qualifying competitions, the regional shows in summer, Battle at the Bridge, a holiday show. This is a holiday show, but it is still a national qualifier that attracts some pretty intense athletes. I think we've got maybe 1 or 2 more pullers here in your max axle deadlift, your North Pole pull. These athletes have had a strong opening act. Or first stop. We'll call it the first station stop here. Wow! Okay. 518 going up real smooth. Again, rolling the bar. Build some momentum. Some athletes choose to do this. Some athletes prefer to stay starting from a static position. A little bit of momentum, though, can lock things in for athletes, get mechanical cues. Certainly works for him. 515, smooth pull, no clear breakdown in terms of velocity. Great work. We're just talking through some logistics. I think we're making a call for our lane 1 athletes. What's coming into question, or not really into question, but if there is a tie if two athletes in the same category pull the same weight, whoever pulled that weight first in their event selection, essentially. So if person A pulls 515 in their second attempt, person B pulls 515 on their first attempt, and they both stop there, person B is going to take the maximum points for that because they pulled it first. They ended on the same weight, but the earlier in your attempt selection, that's what gets you the points. So it looks like we're breaking down our max axle deadlift here. We are going to transition into the next event. You can kind of see some of the athletes prepping in the background here for event number 2, which is going to be your axle clean and press for reps. So I think we're going to take a short break while we get things set up and transitioned here. But again, this is Sean Fuller. I'm your conductor today of the Polar Express, the 4th iteration, coming out of Aurelius Athletics in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Hosted by 580 Barbell, put on by Dante Petrella Productions. We're going to take a quick break. Stick around. We'll be probably 10 minutes or so while we get all the athletes warmed up for the clean and press, everything transitioned to new equipment, and we will be right back. Stay put. See you guys in a little bit. right, welcome back, everybody. If you are just joining us, first off, welcome. You are tuning in to Polar Express 4, the fourth iteration of the Holiday Strongman Show put on by 580 Barbell, hosted by Aurelius Athletics. Awesome, great open venue for our athletes this time. 580 Barbell, the presenting gym. Here in the background, our meet director, fearless leader, gym owner, competitor himself, Josh Hendrickson, geez. We are getting started with our second event, the Axle Clean and Press for Reps, affectionately known as Axle All the Way. So we'll take a look at the top right hand of your screen where our first athlete's getting started here. We'll talk a little bit about what this event is. So if you were with us for the previous event, more axles. Except now they're not just getting lifted to the waist, pushing them up to the sky. So same implement, and we'll talk about why that makes this tricky too. But what we're asking our athletes to do here is take that axle from the ground up into the rack position, which means usually settled a little bit on their upper chest there. And then they will press away for 60 seconds. So it is a max rep event in 60 seconds. They don't have to clean every rep. It is a single clean to the rack and then press as much as they can. It's your choice. If you want to clean each rep, go for it if that's the preference, but pressing away from the rack each time is going to give you the maximum amount of time to focus on just the press itself. For all our athletes here, we've got Kyle Ruiz, the 798-pound deadlifter in the bottom right hand of your screen. Looks like we've got Luke Gutwall, top right hand here, lane number 2. We've got Cassie Hart in our open women's middleweight class, 160 and below. Your top left here in lane 1. So there's a lot of ways to press. If you're familiar with Olympic lifting, this is going to be pretty familiar territory for you, and we'll talk about the ways that it's a little bit different than a traditional Olympic lift. If you're from powerlifting, it's we'll call it a standing dynamic bench press. We'll get into a little bit more why that's more nuanced than just that as well. If you're not from any strength sport and you're just joining in to watch a friend or a family member, this, in my personal opinion, is one of the best ways that you can show a complete picture of strength, because you're coming from the ground, working it up the way to the front of your chest and pressing it all the way overhead. So you cannot have weaknesses among that chain. So we're looking for our athletes to really engage in two parts of this lift. The clean, which is the movement of the barbell from the ground. If you look at the top left hand of your screen here, Ami Flowers, winner of the deadlift from the last event. The clean is what Ami just performed. That's taking it from the ground up into the rack position, which is on the chest. And then pressing it overhead is the second portion of the lift in whatever style you deem fit. So maybe we'll go around and call them out as we see them. Ami is using a split jerk technique to press overhead. Split jerk is kind of as it's named. Split, one foot's going forward, one foot's going back. What that allows you to do is drop lower under the bar to minimize the distance you need to press the bar from the rack position to overhead. The jerk portion refers to the double dip that the athlete will do. So you get it up to the rack position, you dip down a little bit to engage your legs and get some leg drive, and then you throw it up, and then you dip again during the catch. That's what you'll see as the jerk. So if you hear the term or phrase double dip, usually people are talking about a jerk. There are a couple different types of jerks too. So the split jerk is what we saw with Ami, and then your body right here, your bottom right here, at Anthony Tesoro. Let's see what he chooses for his overhead variation, and we'll talk about it. Gets it clean up into the belly, which is a common place to kind of rest it halfway up the clean to get it into the front rack. But Anthony was attempting to do a bit of a push jerk. So he's double dipping, but he's not splitting his feet back and forth. The push jerk means you dip down to start to load your hamstrings and your legs like a spring, and you jump out of it, pressing the bar overhead. You catch it underneath you, but your leg's still in the same position. Let's take a look at Ashley Brooks here in lane 1. Not quite able to get it clean up over the belt. That's usually a sticking point with some athletes. You're seeing the top right hand of your screen, Mike Richards had a great example of a split jerk. Now with Mike, I'd like to see him dip a little bit lower in the catch position, which means there, that second position, if he can get his legs a little bit lower, that reduces the total amount of distance that the bar needs to travel. I mean, he's clearly not struggling with it, but from an efficiency standpoint, you're using less energy if you can get lower with the catch position of the bar. So he's got a great and steady dip downwards. Let's call out lane 3 here too in the bottom left hand of your screen. This athlete is doing a push press. So rather than double dipping, you can kind of see with that rep there, he's dipping to load the legs like a spring and then just pressing it out. So he's not dipping a second time to catch it. He's not splitting his legs to catch it lower. This is a pretty common, I would argue that this is probably the most predominant form of pressing in strongman right now. Mostly because from a dynamic perspective, it's easier to train. It doesn't take as much coordination, and your athletes are going to get a good amount of power out of a push press. Now, the athletes that you see using a split jerk typically will have an Olympic lifting background, or they have worked enough on the split jerk that they've become efficient with that movement. And it's obviously people have different opinions on it, but in my opinion, the split jerk will give you the maximum amount of top end output. So you can probably, if you have a good split jerk, you can likely split jerk more weight than you can push press. In most instances, asterisk, caveat. Now, what you will see with some strongman athletes, though, investing time in learning the jerk is not a quick process. It's a very technical lift. It takes a lot of time to master. So some people will just opt to training the push press and get really good at that. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's individual to the athlete. Watch lane 2, very easy clean up into the rack position. And this athlete with 208 pounds on the bar is using that double dip. So a push jerk. If you see how his feet are not repositioning during the lift, staying mostly in place. Here's another example of a push jerk. I think 298 in the bottom side of your screen here. We're getting into some of the super heavyweights. And that's when it starts to get a little bit interesting, because these super heavyweights at 300 pounds are pressing what some of our lightest classes have deadlifted in the previous event. Just to give a sense of scale here. Seen a pretty well executed split jerk in lane 1. Now this athlete, if you remember us talking about Mike, it's definitely a choice to use a split jerk in an event for reps. It's going to give you the best bang for your buck from a strength perspective, but as you can kind of see, the time to catch the bar, recover, and set it back up, just a little bit more time consuming than you might see with a push press or a push jerk. So when cycle time, or the time to completely go through each rep in an event that has max reps, can be a little bit longer if you're split jerking. So a great example is lane 2. We're just push pressing, barely using leg drive, but you can see how much quicker he's cycling through these reps because he doesn't have to reset his feet, he doesn't have to reposition anything. He's just nailed into the ground, dipping into it, a little bit of heels coming up, but still exploding out of the lift. That is a well-executed medley there. So let's see, bottom right, we're seeing about 300 pounds on the axle bar. I think we're seeing our friend Dylan Schmidt in our open super heavyweights, who's currently leading the open men's super heavyweights with a 620-pound deadlift. So he's in first place. Dylan looking to maintain his lead here. A pretty easy clean. Dylan's using a push press as well. I'd like to see Dylan get a little bit more leg drive out of his push press because it's slowing down about halfway through the press, so he needs a little bit more momentum. Now, this being said, it's 300 pounds on the bar, so this is freaking heavy, folks. Easier said than done to get more momentum or leg drive. But that's what we're looking at. This is going to be an interesting thing to watch over this event, and if you watch more events in Strongman. This is a complete test of strength. So our previous event, the deadlift, almost entirely a different skill set for a max press away. So what we're looking for is the most well-rounded strongman, will generally be the strongest. If you are a phenomenal deadlifter but not a great presser, sure, you're going to get points on the first event, but drop points on the overhead press. So really a good strategy is just not be bad at any of them. Easier said than done. Now, if you look at the top left-hand side of your screen, lane 1, not push pressing, not push jerking, not split jerking, just a little bit of strict press action. So your standing bench press. Good Lord. That'll work. A little bit of leg drive on that one just to lock it out. But not much needed. Jeez. Grinding out a few more reps. 208 in lane 2. I think we're about wrapped with the open heavyweights too at the bottom right here. So we talked about it a little bit, but if you're familiar with Olympic lifting or somewhat adjacent to lifting in general, what makes an axle clean and press so much more difficult than a regular barbell clean and press? If you were with us for the axle deadlift, it's the same principle. This bar does not spin. It's a fixed axle, and it's thicker. So with a nice Olympic barbell, there's really well-greased ball bearings that allow the collars to spin with the weights on them. What that means for the lifters is that you're not losing momentum as much, and there's not as much energy leak because the weights are kind of free to move however they need to on the bar. On the axle bar, since it is fixed and the collars don't spin, you are moving the implement as if it were one piece. So significantly more difficult implement to clean, a less comfortable implement to press because of the thicker bar. selfishly, one of my favorite events. Getting down to our last couple athletes here. So if you are just joining us, we're about an hour into Polar Express 4, the 4th iteration of the holiday competition put on by 580 Barbell. Preeminent gym, strongman gym, powerlifting gym, Olympic weightlifting gym in the western PA area. Perennial competition host, Polar Express, Battle at the Bridge for several years. More recently, America's Strongest Man, America's Strongest Masters, America's Strongest Women. Putting on a very professional show already. This is a holiday show, but this is a national qualifier. So depending on where you are at in the placings, if you're an athlete, and depending on how many athletes are in your class, certain members of the podium will qualify for Strongman Corp Nationals next year. So this is a pretty enticing competition for some athletes to get to because it's one of the first in this, we'll call it Strongman cycle. So where we're at with the year, if you get a Nationals qualification now, you have a lot of time to prepare for the actual big event. A lot of folks pretty motivated to get that earlier invite and then have a nice long off season to recover, shore up some of their weaknesses, and then get a full event prep in. We want to shout out all of our volunteers, the folks walking around in blue, for giving up their Saturdays to judge, to run scores, to score keep, to change the weights out. This takes a lot of time to set up correctly, a lot of time to run smooth. So we are wrapped with the second event here, the Axle Clean and Press for Reps. I want to give another shout out. If you are on the YouTube page or on your phone or on your computer, there's a link that's posted at the top, pinned at the top of the chat there to ironpodium.com. Iron Podium is the online scorekeeping website for these events. So you'll see in there, we've already got the results for event 1 in their max axle deadlift. And as soon as our scribes get to our scorekeeper and upload all the event results for event number 2, the axle clean and press, you'll be able to see live where your athlete is kind of sitting in terms of placements so far. You'll get to see the score that they got on the previous event, how many points that was worth, and then where their overall standings are. So I encourage you to go to Iron Podium. The link's in the chat. It's also, if you go to ironpodium.com and you just search for Polar Express 4, there's only one Polar Express, so you're going to find this one. Scroll to the bottom of that page, hit the View Scoreboard button, and you'll see your athletes' results, where they're placing. So we are going to reset the field and get ready for our third event here, which is the Conan's Wheel. And I am going to kind of bury the lead there and talk about it more when we come back from break. This is one of the more grueling events that Strongman has to offer. So we're going to see some pain from these athletes here. So we're going to take a probably 5-10 minute break to reset the rest of the implements here. We're going to clean out the max axle clean and press. We are going to reset the Conan's wheels that you'll see in a little bit. And then we will be right back. This is Sean Fuller with Dante Petrella Productions, 580 Barbell hosting Polar Express 4. Don't go anywhere. We're about an hour in, 2 events down. We've got 3 events to go. Stay tuned here. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Polar Express 4. We're jumping right into things here, and you're going to see on the screen a lot happening. So let's go over what all is going on. But first off, welcome. If you're just joining us, this is Polar Express 4. This is a holiday strongman competition hosted by 580 Barbell over here in Western Pennsylvania. We are at Aurelius Athletics. Great space that's used for CrossFit, used for other functional fitness, lifting, and this strongman competition. So you're going to see on your screen 4 panes. In the top left and the bottom right hand of your screen, we are running one event. In the top right hand and bottom left hand, we're running another event. Clearly, they're very different events, and we can kind of go over what they are and why they're happening sequentially here. To be very blunt, there is some intense weather coming from what we hear. And we want to make sure that all of our athletes get back safe wherever they're going. If they're staying here, probably a couple hours before that starts. So we are running the Conan's Wheel, which you'll see the big circles on your screen, top right, bottom left. The Conan's Wheel event, also known as Walking in a Weighted Wonderland. And then in the top left and the bottom right, you are going to see the Sandbag Over Bar event. You'll see at the top left here. It is a spherical sandbag, the Cerberus sandstone bags. It'll be lifted up and over a bar for as many reps as you can. And then the Conan's Wheel, which you see the top right, bottom left, is max distance in 60 seconds. You have to pick and carry in a circle for as many revolutions as you can. We'll get into the specifics of what these events actually look like to do, but we're running both of these at the same time just to be a little more time efficient with things. We've got the space for it. As an athlete, usually you like to keep things moving, not getting too cold between events. So the faster you can get through the events, in most cases, the better. So you're going to see the top right hand of your screen. I think we're still warming up a little bit on the Conan's Wheel. The Sandbag Over Bar, we are running live. So let's focus on the Sandbag Over Bar first. It's a pretty straightforward event. Pick the thing up, put it over the bar, do it again. In this event, that thing is a Cerberus sandstone bag. This is a relatively new product from Cerberus that mimics somewhat the shape of an Atlas stone. If you're familiar with Strongman, you know Atlas stones. If you're not, they are the giant concrete balls that athletes will put over things, load, press overhead, shoulder. The sandstone bag, maybe just a little bit easier cleanup. It's not made of concrete. It's not quite so aggressive on the forearms. Similar shape still. But our athletes, we're asking them to achieve the maximum amount of reps. So a good rep is picking the bag up, loading it over the bar, bag hitting the ground, for as many times as you can in 60 seconds. So kind of like we talked about with the overhead press, cycle efficiency and cycle speed, meaning how long are you taking to both load the bag, but also transition from one side of the implement to the other. That cycle speed and cycle efficiency is going to determine how many reps you can get in that minute. Athletes, as you've seen, can go under or around the bar. Our men are going to be loading to 52 inches height. Our women and teen athletes will be loading to 48 inches. You're allowed to use gloves. You're allowed to use chalk, sleeves. No grip shirts for this event. So you're relying on the strength rather than the grip of the shirt. You'll see some gloves, typically what folks will use. None on this athlete in the top left and none on the bottom right, but some folks will opt to use like receiver gloves from football. Some people choose to use batting gloves. from baseball. It's really a matter of preference. You get a different grip profile from each of them. Some people prefer bare skin just because they have that tactile feedback from their fingers to the implement itself. We're just getting ready for the Conan's wheel, and we'll talk about those when folks get started here. But the top left, bottom right, we are working through, I believe, our 200-pound men's athlete class at the moment. So in your top left here, dangerously close to the commentator's table. I don't think we'll have any run-ins, but stay tuned. Got Mike Richards.
Up and over. There you go. Up and over.
Attempting as many sandbag over bars as possible.
Let's go.
We've got our other class in the bottom right. I want to say it's some of our novice athletes. Frankly, there's a ton of athletes here, which is fantastic, but they're also cycling pretty quickly, so I'll try to call out the ones that we recognize throughout the day and learn some of them so we can get them the acknowledgement and shout out that they definitely deserve. So this is going to be a true test of conditioning. So the first event was a raw strength, a deadlift max weight pull. Second event is an axle clean and press. We saw athletes require a little bit more conditioning, but it's a 60-second burst of pressing, which requires conditioning, but maybe not quite the same level as something like this.
Let's go.
Your sandbag overbar is going to be, frankly, exhausting. So getting it from the ground into that lap position and loading it over the bar, you're using the entire posterior chain. Whew. And it's exhausting. I think we've got John Caraway then here at the top left hand. Seen some great progress on this bag. Let's see. John's in the 200 class. So this sandbag, for context,
Get some more. Come on, let's go.
is 220 pounds. So this is his body weight and then some that he is just just handling. Great rep. So we'll give our sandstone loaders a bit of a break here for a moment, and then we'll take an eye. Let's see, Kyle Ruiz here. We've got in the top right-hand side of your screen. He's going to start his event. In the bottom left, we've obviously got someone running the Conan's. So the Conan's wheel, aka walking in a weighted wonderland. Another one that's kind of simple to say, incredibly difficult, and one might say hellish in execution. You pick the thing up and you walk in a circle. Now, that thing is a weighted load, in Kyle's case, in the top right hand of your screen, of 630 pounds. 630 pounds in any style is a lot of weight to hold, carry, pick, pull. But in the Conan's wheel, you have to carry the implement in a Zercher position. A Zercher position, if you're not familiar, is in the crook of your elbow, essentially. So you'll see with our athlete down at the bottom here, focused in the center now, is holding it kind of a little bit lower than traditional rack position, like we talked about with the axle clean and press. It's usually up against the upper abdomen, right beneath the pecs, but the most important part is that it's held in the elbows. So a tremendous amount of Ooh.
Big thoughts around.
Tremendous amount of bicep strain, as you can imagine. You see James Brady here on the right-hand side, upper right. It's exhausting, folks. Like, you get done with this. Now, I've done a Conan's Wheel in competition a couple years back. Difference being it was outside in a parking lot, and it was at least 1,000 degrees outside.
Let's go. Come on.
It's very hard to breathe during the Conan's Wheel. So we'll take a look at the top right, and we'll see Anthony getting ready to go here. On the bottom side of your screen, you've got another athlete that's starting his first revolution. It's a lot of ways to carry certain implements, but Anthony's doing it the right way, in my opinion, for this. You get out to the side and then kind of lean into the middle of it, so it's making good progress too. The question really is, what's going to give out first? Is it going to be your biceps? Is it going to be your back? There's a tremendous amount of strain on your upper and mid back as you try to lock that bar into position. Is it going to be your legs? Is it going to be your feet? Every part of your body is just so strained. So I saw a great revolution with Anthony. Bottom here, going to get another one of our athletes started, I believe in the 200 class. And we're just moving.
20 seconds.
I want to say this is Gabe approaching the Conan's Wheel here.
Come on, get one more. One more.
Gabe's had an impressive showing, winning the deadlift, scoring high points in the axle clean and press. Currently tied for first in the 200 class. And we'll confirm that it is in fact Gabe. That would be embarrassing. And you can see just the pump of the back muscles. I wonder if the camera will pick it up. It looks like you can see it. So the absolute strain on your upper and mid back, trying to hold this into position. You can kind of see it as he crosses here. Man. Yeah, just busting through his shirt. Conan's Wheel is a brutal event.
Come on.
20 seconds.
I think in the top right or top left hand of your screen, we've got James Crahan representing our Masters athletes, having a great day. Some solid reps of the sandstone bag over bar. Seeing some good revolutions in our super heavyweight class. Now we are up to 680 pounds loaded on that implement. Now, if you drop it, you're done. Drop it if it drags, if it makes really any contact with the floor. A, it's going to stop you anyway, but B, that's going to be when your timer stops, the measurement stops. And we're measuring in revolutions. So feet in a circle, measured with a trundle wheel. These ones are particularly brutal too. So if you see in the bottom of your screen here, there's a little bit of sway in the bar. So the bar that's holding the weight has a little bit of sway in it. So if you're changing momentum or if you're stopping, starting, staggering your steps a little bit, it's going to swing back and forth ever so slightly, really cause your gait to be impacted. So it's obviously easier said than done, but a good run, a well-executed run, is smooth, steady, ideally quick, but controlled enough so that weight just moves in one plane. Once it starts to sway, it becomes a very difficult effort. It's not easy to begin with.
Control! Control! There you go. Stay tight. Come on!
Whew. Gonna get some heck of a bruise too. If you drop it, you're not going any further than the bar, so you are just body slamming that bar. Not a fun time. So to recap, we have that heavy max deadlift, a great precursor for just static strength. We have the max axle clean and press for reps, which is some conditioning, some pressing strength. You've got the sandstone bag over bar, which is a lot of posterior chain strength, grip, crushing power from the pecs and the delts, and lats get involved with that. Throwing your hips through, so a lot of glute strength involved there. That's a true cardio test. And then you've got the Conan's wheel. Testing cardio, but more testing your will, I would say, and testing your ability to breathe. Some of these athletes, as you can kind of tell by the color of their faces during their run, some athletes choose to just hold their breath. Again, to each their own. But when you stop getting oxygen, especially when your heart rate's spiking like that, when you're under heavy load, not going to have a good time. So a lot of athletes will legitimately practice breathing techniques to exhale, get as much of the air out of their lungs as they can, and a quick inhale to get as much of that fresh oxygen back in as possible. It's a great showing here today, too. We've still got another event plus to go if you're in the Aliquippa area. Stop by Aurelius Athletics. We've got a great crowd on hand, too. I'd argue there's more spectators than athletes at that point, which we'd love to see. This athlete here at the bottom, just cruising.
Don't drop it. Let's go.
Just taking a walk in the park.
Come on, Tom.
Goodness. Heck of a run. Really great showing by Tom here. I think we've gotten through our. So if we moved athletes into an A unit and a B unit, the A class is doing the sandstone bag over bar first. I believe they're all done with their bag loading. Just waiting for the Conan's wheel to free up, really. Let's see how the rest of our athletes approach the Conan's wheel. Now, one thing that I will say, hey, Sean, this is not an implement that I have in my gym. Not super surprised. This is a pretty unique piece of equipment. And I don't know a lot of people that are saying, oh, let's go do Conan's wheel for fun. Also takes up a lot of space. So how do you train this if you don't have this specific piece of equipment? There's a lot of different ways to do it. Not a lot of ways to perfectly replicate it because it does have a unique axis point in the center and you're kind of tilted towards it, obviously. But as far as mimicking the thickness of that bar,
Men's
Pause a second.
100 and then the men's open 200. You guys can start warming up with codings. Your class is going next. The other class that did sandbag goes down there, that's going to be on this once they wrap up. Women's, novice, and lightweight will be on this coding, okay? Women's, lightweight, and novice will be on this coding as soon as they're done. Alright, women's, novice, and lightweight men, start warming up on here.
All right. We just had our fearless leader Josh talk about what's changing here. So we're giving the athletes in the first group a chance to warm up on their second implement, and vice versa. So we are going to probably take 5 or 10 while these athletes get themselves situated while they get warmed up for the next event they're doing. But come on back in about 5 or 10 minutes. Asterisk, caveat, we want to make sure these folks get enough warm-up time. And again, we are doing the sandstone bag over bar for our Group B athletes, and then the Conan's wheel for our Group A athletes. So once again, if you're just joining us, this is Polar Express 4. We're going to take a quick break to transition between these events here, and we will be back in a little bit. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, folks, to Polar Express for your favorite holiday strongman competition here out of Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Hosted at Aurelius Athletics, put on by 580 Barbell, brought to you by Dante Petrella Productions. Polar Express 4 is the 4th iteration of our holiday strongman show here. On your screen, we've got 2 events going at the same time. If you're just joining us, we're in event 3 and 4. At the bottom left hand of your screen and the top right hand of your screen, we've got the Conan's Wheel, the Walking in a Weighted Wonderland event. Conan's Wheel is going to be a heavy weight held in the crook of your arms, and you just have to walk in a circle for as much distance as you can muster. Our other event, another one that's pretty simple in name but tough in execution, the sandstone bag over bar, or the stocking stuffer. Intent there is pretty simple. Pick up the bag, put it over the bar, and do that a lot. Obviously a little bit more nuanced than that, and we'll get into it while we watch our athletes compete here. I think we've got Luke Gutwald, and we'll try to call him out as we can, but there are 4 lanes going at once. It makes it pretty tough. Luke's going at a quick clip in the top right hand of your screen. Top left hand, we've got Ami Flowers, getting ready for her Conan's Wheel run. Great quick show from Luke there on the lane 2 camera. And then Ami's going at a good clip here too. So the Conan's Wheel, if you're just joining us, the Conan's Wheel is a heavy implement that is affixed on an axis point in the center of that circle that you're seeing here. You are carrying the entirety of the weight in the crook of your arms, or in the elbow pit, maybe we'll call it. This is a grueling event for so many reasons. It's a test of your bicep resilience. It's a test of your forearm strength to hold that bar in place in the first place. It's a test of your calf muscles, believe it or not, to continue taking steps at kind of a staggered stance since the weight is biased inwards. Great showing by Ami on the Conan's Wheel. It's a test of the mid and upper back, too. Woo! Locking those forearms into place requires a lot of back stability and strength. And it also is a really big test of your gait, your cadence, the smoothness of your steps. You want to go as far as you can in 60 seconds, but I don't think we've had anybody go the full 60 seconds. So it's really a measure of how efficiently and fast can you move the fastest. Ooh! Just getting punched in the stomach by a metal baseball bat, basically. Obviously, you are measured in distance traveled, so you pick up the implement, you walk for as long as you can with it, and as soon as it reaches the ground again, like we just saw bottom left hand of your screen, as soon as the implement touches the ground, that is when your time stops, and that's when the measurement's taken. The winner is whoever, obviously, takes the weight the farthest amount of distance in the circle, measured by our trundle wheel there. And the sandstone bag over bar. You take a peek at the top left hand of your screen. We've got Dylan Schmidt, your current leader for the Open Men's Super Heavyweight class.
Come on, let's go.
With our sandbag over bar. Another one that is simple in name, but execution a little bit more nuanced.
Get it. Come on, get your
Dylan's taking this spherical Cerberus sandstone sandbag. It's a bit of a tongue twister if anybody would like to try it. Picking it up off the ground and loading it over the barbell for as many reps as you can in 60 seconds again. This is a test of pretty much the entire body and your cardio capacity. So from your fingertips to getting under the bag your forearms for actually holding the bag in place. Lower back, mid-back to grab that bag and pull it into your lap. Hamstrings, quads, glutes. Lifting it from the lap position, loading it over the bar. Everything's involved. It's a full body movement. Oh, and then you have to do it for as many times as you can. So there is a lung capacity and oxygen component as well. Seeing some high picks in the bottom right here. Really good pop out of the lap position for our athlete in the bottom right. Brutal event, the Conan's wheel. I talked about it before the break, but it's also a test of how you're taking oxygen back into your body. You can see our athlete in the bottom left here. It might be hard to show up on the screen, but he's taking really controlled and cadenced breaths. What a result. 6, 7 revolutions, I want to say. That was nuts. We started to talk about it a little bit, but how do you train a Conan's wheel if you don't have access to one of these implements? So there's a lot of ways to do it. Not a perfect analog by any means, but the most common way to train it is using a yoke. So you carry a yoke Zercher style, which is how you're seeing these athletes do it, in the crook of their elbows or their elbow pit. Picking the yoke and just walking forward for distance, or walking in a circle if you have the benefit of having that much space. It's not a perfect way to simulate it, but it's probably the closest that you're going to get if you don't have access to that implement. As we talked about, there's a bit of a weight bias inwards towards the center of the implement. So you're kind of forced to walk at a lean. And that's tricky in its own right, depending on which direction you're traveling. That gets into hip flexor territory, hip stability, and mobility territory. Let's see how our athlete in the top right approaches this. Let's see our athlete in the top left. Barely needs to get close to the bar. He's just ripping that up and over, clearing it by a couple inches. Making good work of it over there with the sandbag, my goodness. Now, sandbag loads respond really well to aggression. And I don't mean just kind of listless fury. But if you're attacking that, I mean, the more momentum that you can build with the clean or the pick of it into the lap. You see with our athlete there in the top left. The longer it takes to load things, the harder it gets. So if you have the capacity to do it quickly, you're going to benefit. And obviously this is an event that is max reps, so you want to get as many as you can. I'm going to give a call out in this transition time here. If you are following along at home, an athlete or somebody that you know, one of your friends, family members, if you go into the chat, we have a pinned link up there on YouTube. That link is going to take you to ironpodium.com. I'm going to pause a second to explain what we're seeing with our one athlete just there. Because these Conan wheels have a bit of a free swinging weight loading apparatus, if you start off too quick and it starts to pivot back and forth, the momentum of that weight is going to throw you backwards. And we saw a good example in the top right of an athlete that maybe started off the blocks a little hot, but was able to maintain or find some kind of composure during the run and getting it further. This is one of those smooth and steady kind of events. Ooh. It's painful. You can hear it in the microphone. The crowd's getting into it. This is great. Great showing from a crowd perspective. I mean, this gym, this building is absolutely packed full of spectators.
I know, right?
Like I was saying, if you go to the link that's pinned in the YouTube chat, or if you're watching somewhere in which you can't click that, that link will take you to ironpodium.com. Iron Podium is the online scorekeeping website used for a lot of strongman events. Specifically for this one, Polar Express 4, that's where you're going to see live updates for the score, how your athletes are doing. If you click the link, it'll take you right to it. If you navigate to ironpodium.com and in the search bar put Polar Express, you're going to see this event specifically. Go to Iron Podium, click Find an Event, search for Polar Express. If you hit the scoreboard button, you're going to see live updates for all of the athletes. And our scorekeepers, as always, a shout out to the tremendous volunteers that we have here. Our judges have scribes assigned to them, which are keeping track of who scores what. As soon as that class is done, they will run it to the scorekeeper, who's entering that data into Iron Podium. So without too much delay, we're getting these scores updated live for you on ironpodium.com. So take a look at that, keep track of your athletes. Already starting to see some podium positions take shape in these different classes. That's important for a lot of reasons here. So obviously, as we said at the first, oh goodness. As we said at the top of the stream, this is a Nationals qualifier, a Strongman Corporation Nationals qualifier. So depending on how many folks are in your class and your position within that class at the end of the day, you're going to qualify for Strongman Corporation Nationals. We hit it at the top, but this is one of the earliest opportunities to qualify for Strongman Corp Nationals. You got several months between now and then. So the earlier that these athletes get qualified, the longer they have to prep for it. A lot of motivation to get that early invite. I think we've got a few people still working through their sandbag loads here. If I'm not mistaken, we're moving on to the 265ers. Your 265 class. I want to say Garrett Thomas is your athlete right now on the left-hand side of your screen. We are down to one lane for the Conan's wheel as well. Starting to fatigue a little bit, it looks like, in the sandbag. Oh, just, you can physically see how draining this event is on folks. After that 60 seconds, I mean, walking's hard, breathing's hard. Just a brutal event. think we're going to see Kyle Ruiz here on the left-hand side of your screen attempt the sandbag next, using a liberal amount of chalk on the implement. Starting to look like a snowball more than the red Cerberus color that we're used to. I think we could have got more chalk on that, Kyle. I don't know. So now he has the fun benefit of breathing through a cloud every transition, but he's making quick work of this sandbag. We talked about cycle time at the beginning, so transitioning between finishing a rep and starting the next one is sometimes an overlooked component of strongman. But if you're looking at Kyle specifically here, this is a good example of he's starting the rep, cleaning it over the bar. As soon as he gets it over the bar, he's starting his transition to the other side of the bell to position himself for the next rep. At some levels, it is just going to be a 5 rep, 7 rep, that kind of point spread. But at the highest levels of this, every fraction of seconds counts here. So if you minimize the time spent between reps, you maximize, obviously, the time you can spend doing reps, the more you're going to get. So a strong showing on the sandbag over bar, a strong showing on the Conan's wheel that we just saw too. It gets a little bit easier when we have fewer lanes to call out, but now we've got James Brady about to start his sandbag load here. James is currently in second place in the 265ers, a couple points back from Kyle. Pretty straightforward work, smooth and steady from Brady on these ones. Our Conan's wheel, I believe. This is James representing our Masters middleweight class, making great work. Okay, here's what we're looking for in the Conan's wheel too. If you're watching from home, first and foremost, he's got great breath control. So he's taking very consistent breaths in. That helps him expand his diaphragm enough where he can get that lung capacity filled back up. But he's taking small enough choppy steps with a smooth gait, meaning he's not trying to go too fast, which keeps the implement smooth. What a great run. Good for several revolutions there. We're seeing Anthony coming up. Anthony Cesaro, also representing the 264 class, 264 and a half, 265. What's a pound between friends? Anthony looking to attack this sandbag. If he can get a couple reps, he can make some points up on the scoreboard here. So let's see what he can make happen. I think we're stripping down the Conan's wheel here too. So we're just getting to the end of our third and fourth events here. Anthony's making good time. Easy pick to the clean position, smooth transition to the load. Very solid. Nice work. That's going to wrap Anthony's attempt for the sandstone bag of bar. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's our last athlete for the sandbag load in general. So I'll give another shout out. We are transitioning between events here. We can chat a little bit about where things are at so far. As soon as the scores get updated here. There is a fight in several of our open classes. Couple points spread between these classes too. Again, if you go to ironpodium.com and search for Polar Express Floor, or if you click the link in the YouTube chat, that's going to take you to the live score sheet. It's a fight for the podium in our men's middleweight division, our 200 and under class. Stacked class there. Only 2 points separates first through third. 6 points separates first through fourth. That whole top chunk. In our 231 class, a bit more of a commanding lead so far from our athlete John Tibbs, but still plenty of points left in the last event, as we've got 9 athletes in that class. Open men's heavyweight, Kyle Ruiz with a strong lead at the moment. Still points on the board to capture here. Open super heavyweight, still a couple point gap between first and second. Dylan Schmidt, your overall leader there with the open men's super heavyweight. But still 5 or so points left to go, so nothing that I can see as a done deal in our open classes, which is really exciting to see. And we just got an update pushed to ironpodium.com, so we've got all 4 of the events that we've already performed here updated. So once again, go to ironpodium.com and type in Polar Express 4, or click the link in the YouTube chat. That's going to bring you the most up-to-date scores for the athletes that you're trying to chase down. We're getting transitioned for our last event. I mean, we're 2 hours and change into this, and we're already getting down to our last event. So huge shout out to 580 Barbell and all the volunteers here that are giving up their Saturdays to really make this show run smoothly and effectively. We're 2 hours and 22 minutes in. We've got 4 of 5 events down. So we're going to take a little bit of a break to reset the implements, get the Conan's wheel stripped down, and make lanes for our last event, the max distance farmer carry. And then we will be back in a couple minutes here. So stay tuned. Again, this is Sean Fuller with Dante Petrella Productions for Polar Express 4. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Polar Express for the final event. Sean, it's been 2 hours and 45 minutes. Yeah, we're running at a great clip today. This is Polar Express 4. We're on our final event, which is the max distance farmer carry. Polar Express Strongman Corporation Holiday Strongman Show, hosted by 580 Barbell, the premier strongman powerlifting Olympic gym out of Western Pennsylvania, hosted at Aurelius Athletics in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Great space with a lot more room for our athletes to both warm up, perform, spectate. In the case, we've got a full group of spectators. I think we've got more people watching than we do competing, which is awesome, and we've got a lot of competitors. Just taking a look around, what we've got going on right now, we've got our final warm-ups all settled for our athletes for the max distance farmer carry. We've got our volunteers just making sure everything is set at the appropriate distances for the measurements that we'll take. And this one, if you've been with us most of the day, another event that's pretty straightforward, but very difficult. So this is the max distance farmer's carry, also known as the reindeer run. Athletes are going to have 60 seconds to pick up these heavy, heavy farmer handles, carry them from one end of the gym to the other as many times as they can. Now the rules here are that you can pick up the farmer's implements, carry them 50 feet, drop them, turn around and carry them another 50 feet. If you drop them at any point, you are done with your run. You drop them at any point between those two 50-foot markers, I should say. If you don't make it all the way, your time stops, your distance stops. We're going to be running 3 lanes. All of our athletes will be going at the same time. In a lot of instances, we have athletes who are in the same weight class that will be going at the same time. So you are going to see some pushes for the podium, or some instances first place, be settled in real time. So our first competitors we're going to take a look at here. We've got a couple angles, and they're all on the same folks. Probably the top right is the best where we can see them at the moment. Representing your open women's middleweight class, we've got Cassie Hart.
That's what we're going to work with.
Yeah. The top right hand of your screen, or top left hand of your screen, the rightmost implement is where Cassie's going to be running. In the middle lane, we've got Ashley Brooks representing the open women's middleweight 180 class. And then just poking on the screen now, she's going to be on the far left farmer's implement. You'll see her come into view as soon as she gets running here, but that is Ami Flowers, representing the open women's middleweight 180 class as well. After this run, we will have settled who from both of these classes are going to get invites to Strongman Corporation Nationals. And yes, again, this is a holiday strongman competition, but this is a high-level athlete grouping. These are folks that have competed, if you're familiar with the space, at OSG, have placed at Nationals, America's Strongest Man and Woman.
And how do we reset it?
So this isn't some parking lot throwdown. These are tenured athletes looking to get back into the system. By that I mean the winners of each class, and then podium positions, depending on how many athletes there are, get an invite to Strongman Corporation Nationals. Strongman Corp Nationals, of course, being where you can earn your pro card. You can get an Arnold invite. Arnold invite being the Amateur World Championships for the weight classes. So this is the start of a lot of these athletes' season, quote unquote.
We're starting our 5th and final event with Polar Express 4. Max distance farmers here, they have 60 seconds to go down and back as many times as they can with the weight. listed per hand is what they're carrying. So these ladies are carrying 155 pounds per hand. If they drop it before the red tape on either side, they're done. Okay? Everyone's going head to head. Okay? We got our first plate up. Athletes ready? Judges ready? Go!
All right, we are off to the races here. You may have picked it up on camera here, but Josh, our event director, was explaining to the crowd exactly what's going on here. This is the max distance farmer's carry. So we see Ami coming out with a commanding lead here. They have 60 seconds to make as many 50-foot trips as they can. So you see in the middle lane here. And your rightmost lane, Cassie and Ashley, finishing with about a trip and a half. Ami got enough distance to secure a first place finish in this event, as Ami and Ashley were your two participants there. And that, not to spoil it, if you're not looking at the Polar Express Iron Podium link, which will be in the YouTube channel pinned there, or you can go to ironpodium.com, search for Polar Express. Ami is going to be walking away with a Nationals invite. She is your winner for the Open Women's Middleweight class, 180 pounds and under. So she'll be headed to Texas to represent this weight class. Going to get our next couple folks here, running 3 lanes at a time. So we're just going to go straight down the score sheet, if that's what you're looking at, basically. Got our great volunteers resetting the weights here. Huge shout out to everybody in blue. These are folks that are volunteering their time on their Saturdays here to make sure this show runs smoothly. Could not happen without the volunteers. This just, it speaks to the quality of who we've got helping with how quickly this has been moving. We haven't even reached the 3-hour mark for this competition, which is just unheard of. So running a tight ship, running an efficient ship, running a tight train, I guess I should say.
All right, our next class, novice men super heavyweight. We'll have Robert, we'll have Mark and Evan out first, and then we'll have Cord and Brian out second.
So depending on who we've got in these weight classes, we're going to split them up a little bit. We've got 4 competitors in our novice men's super heavyweight class. And it is still technically anybody's race at this point. First and the last is separated by 4 points, which is the maximum number of points you can achieve. It is technically possible to zero this if you can't pick the farmer's implements. So it is still technically anybody's game here. I think our first 2 competitors are going to be Mark and Evan. I'm going to be bold and try at Mark Wysensi, I believe, and Evan Baker.
This is our novice men's class. They don't have to weigh in, the point on.
Both with some really strong showings, considering this is the super heavyweight class. And you'll probably see on screen, they're not filling out that full class. So this is impressive. And we're just motoring ahead, my goodness. Ooh. On our middle lane there, just not enough gas. Okay, so you'll be like, Sean, why is he still going if the other person... So there are 4 people in this class. So these are the first 2 competitors to go. So just because our athlete here that's still going beat his competitor on the floor, he's still got to set a good record for the next 2, Brian and Cord, to put some pressure on them for a podium spot here. Really solid pull. Now, every foot's going to count here, so even if he doesn't finish a lap, the further he can get into this one is going to be the max distance here. It looks like he's going to finish this one, too. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Great showing. Based on the crowd cheers, that's Evan Baker. Putting a strong number up to try and push himself up the podium. He will at least finish in third place. Depends on what Brian and Cord have to say about it. So we're going to get those two up next here. This is the novice men's super heavyweight class. Brian and Cord, very strong showing so far. And you're going to see kind of the disparity. And it's not a knock on anybody, but it's kind of the disparity in the weight classes. So this is novice men's super heavyweight, so there's no weight limit. So the two that you just saw versus the two that you're seeing now. A little bit of a different profile.
Judges ready? Go!
Let's see what we can get from these two boys here. Solid run from both of them to start out. There's half a point separating these two. So Brian has to beat Cord at least to maintain that hold on first place. Now let's see who's showing signs of fatigue first. We're seeing some staggered steps here in the middle. And on the left side, it doesn't look comfortable. But we've got solid steps. Now what you're looking for in these farmers carry, it's not a sprint, it's a controlled march, for lack of a better term. And he's got to go. And just started a bit too fast out of the gate. Took a little bit of a tumble, but he looks like he's all right. Strong showing. That may be the difference in a first place spot. So we'll talk about it while we reset here, the overall rules for the farmer's carry. So again, it's another one that's pretty straightforward in theory. In execution, it's a little bit tricky. These are a farmer carry implement, so we talked at the very beginning about knurling on a barbell. These are a test of your grip. They don't have a great amount of knurling. So some athletes will opt to use chalk on their hands to improve their grip. Some athletes will wrap their thumb, depending on the hand size, to maintain a grip on it. You are not allowed to use gloves, not allowed to use straps. So stepping up, we've got our two open men's lightweight competitors. So these are our male athletes in the open class that weighed in at 175.4 pounds or below.
Athletes ready. Judges ready. Go!
Great showing from both of our athletes here today. Just not enough in the tank, it looks like, on the left. Now this is for personal pride at this point. I don't think our athlete that's still going has to complete this from a points perspective, but you want to test yourself. These folks, 8, 12, sometimes more weeks of work have been put into this. You want to show out. You want to see what you can do. For the lightweight men's, they are carrying 205 pounds in each hand. That translates to a lot of groceries, if you're wondering. Really strong showing. I think we're going to see the full time here. Really, really impressive finish. Awesome work. All right, we're going to get the weights reset and move on to our open men's middleweight class, or 200 and under men. This is a class that at the top of the standings is pretty tightly contested. First place, Matt Papenchak, sitting with 34 points. Literally on his heels, John Caraway, 33 points rather. So Matt has 34, John has 33. And then Gabe in third place, who I think we incorrectly named in an earlier event, 32 points. So 2 points separates first and third place. As there are 9 competitors, there's a lot of movement on the scorecard to come, depending on how placing goes. We see people further down the list that are hoping to play spoiler, too. If enough people between one of those competitors and who they're behind or in front of, that has an impact on the scorecard as well. If you're watching on the YouTube stream, a lot of great shout-outs as we pull up the chat here. We've got Team Kersey shout out. Go Adrian shout out. Awesome. Bryce getting some love in the chat. Corey Fromile, apologies in advance, but have a spectator shouting you out. Awesome to have you. Thanks for joining us. Getting our weights reset. We are moving to 225 pounds per hand. So a total load of 450 pounds that these athletes are going to have to carry 50 feet back and forth. And this isn't just back and forth. This is a deadlift, a farmer's carry, drop it, another deadlift, another farmer's carry. So this is taxing whatever these athletes have left at this point.
As our Soul Masters Men 231, athletes ready, judges ready, go!
We're going to work with James Crahan first, our Masters athlete here in the 231 class. James put a great day together so far. He is the sole athlete in this group, but he came here to see what he could do as well. 488-pound deadlift, which is super impressive. 5 reps on the axle. A couple revolutions on the Conan's wheel. Really great work here. Just shy of the 50 feet mark. Great result. Great result from James to end the day here. So still 225 a hand. We're going to reset that one implement and then get on over to our open men's middleweight class, the 200 subclass.
We're moving on to our men's open 200 class. We've got 9 guys, so this is cool. We got 3 heats. So the first heat out, we'll have Bob, Brandon, and Ben. These guys are carrying 225 pounds per hand.
Maybe heard it over the loudspeaker there, but we've got our men's middleweight class, our 200 athletes coming up here. Cool part about this class is we've got 9 athletes total competing today, so we'll have 3 waves of 3 competitors in sequential order of how many points they've got by the end of event 4. So you are seeing in reverse order where these athletes have stacked up so far. From left to right, I believe we've got Tom Taylor, Brandon Ochoa, and Ben Walter. All with their own impressive performances on the day. Let's see how they finish it out here. You see our athletes have a different combination of supportive gear.
All right, athletes ready, judges ready.
Completely personal preference there. Great pick from Tom in the middle here. Or from Brandon in the middle, pardon me. A good quick start. And nice choppy short steps from Brandon is why he's far out in the head so far. This is not Brandon's first farmer's carry. Other two are still making good time, so these are going to be good placements. But we talk again about that cycle time. It's the transition between the lifts that can sometimes make or break some of these point spreads. Ben and Tom not separated by a ton of distance, but both really motivated to make up some points here. If you can turn around and move it a bit. So this is one thing that I would tell some of the athletes here. If you get to the end and you have a few seconds left, don't call it there. Turn around and budget a foot, because you're going to beat everybody who stopped at that 50-foot line. These are the little things, just like the cycle time. If you get a little bit extra distance, that could be the difference between a placing, two placing spots, 1 or 2 points. In tight contended competitions, those we're going to see our second wave of our 200 athletes here in a little bit. We've got Chris Vanderhoeven, Luke Gutwald, and Mike Richards. It's going to be a great show. Now, this one's important, so we get to our 4th through 6th place. 6th place, easy for me to say.
All right, so my next man out in lane 1, I got Christopher Vanderhoeven.
If there are 5 to 9 athletes in a class, which there are here, 1st and 2nd place are going to get that invite. So it's a little out of reach for some of our competitors here, but Mike Richards, who you'll see on the far right, very motivated. He's 6 points out of 1st and 5 points out of 2nd. So if Mike can make up enough ground with this run, he might be in contention. Everybody pacing pretty well. Luke is making good progress here. Just a little bit out of front of Eddie, but Mike right on his heels. I think he's catching his rhythm a bit. Chris right behind too, not too far behind. What we're looking for from some of these athletes, a lot of them are starting to kind of hunch forward, and those traps and those scaps start to retract a little bit. I'd like to see them a little bit more upright, just to have that structural rigidity in the upper back, and kind of up, back, and down for their scapula, so they're locked in position, so it's not quite such a drain. Luke making good distance, slowing down a little bit, but still smooth and steady. He doesn't look like he's going to miss unless his grip goes out. It's a good example. We're going to see where the time stops, but Luke getting that extra foot or extra step. I mean, you look at it there. He's got maybe a foot on Mike, but that's a placing. That's a spot. Great showing from those three. Mike, Luke, Chris. Just strong performances up and down the scoreboard today. Really great to see.
Let's go, John. Just like training.
Got a shout out in the chat here. Team Ruiz spent the day binge watching our guy, taking it home. Can't be caught. We'll get to him in a little bit, but can't be caught. Kyle had a great showing today. Setting the tone with the near 800-pound deadlift. Following through in pretty much every event. All right, we've got our last three of our 200-pound men. Stepping up here, we've got Gabe. We've got John. We've got Matt. a little bit of conversation our camera's catching. I like to think that they're discussing where they're going for dinner tonight. I have a feeling that might not be the case. I like McDonald's. I like Burger King. I'm getting Mexican. Our judging staff, of course, on top of it. If there are any discrepancies that we're spotting early, these are experienced folks. I mean, the people that you see judging here. Not only are they giving their Saturdays, but these are competitors at legitimately the highest level. We've got folks that have competed at the official Strongman games, that have competed at the Arnold, ASM, ASW. They know what they're looking for as athletes, so they know what to expect from judging as well.
Go, Johnny. Let's go, boys.
All right. We are in position for our final 3 athletes for the 200 class.
For the 200 Open, go to this last event. We got Gabe, John, and Matt. Athletes ready. Judges ready. Go!
All right. Now, this is a high-pressure one because Gabe, John, and Matt are spread by 2 points from top to bottom. So John's coming with the early pace here. About a quarter, a third of a lap faster than everybody else. And that's going to be a hard pace to catch at this point. So can he maintain it is kind of the question. Looks like he's slowing down a little bit on this lap. That's going to give a little bit of a window if the other 2 aren't slowing down the same, but it looks like we're seeing the same thing here. So Matt and Gabe are pretty locked together in their pacing here, but John's still motoring away. Each step, if you've never done a farmer's carry, each step just gets so brutal. Your palm is destroyed. Your body's exhausted. They've done 4 events with faces. They turn and get another inch. Man.
Good job.
So, John, I want to say, well, we haven't been keeping track of total distances. It's a bit tricky to do live stream. We'll wait for the numbers to come out here, but clearly out of this heat, yeah, I think he's got it. Depending on the point spread, I think depending too, Luke did have a good run. Honestly,
Yeah, Frank.
get some cheers for the volunteers, as it should be. We'll do some hypothesis. John beat both Matt and Gabe. So at the very minimum, he's tied for first. As the scores come out, that might have been enough to propel him into first. That's what I'm wondering. See, they on tape, they hit at different times. I guess it depends on how they're going to... Just the distance? Just some side chat here. We're talking about Matt and Gabe. If you go back and watch it, they were staggered a little bit in their timing. But I think we take only the distance, not time. We'll wait to see what the scorer's table. It does us no good to speculate. But that's going to be a wrap for your open men's middleweight. A tight race up at the top here, and only first and second are going to get those nationals bids. So these events are the difference makers in a lot of instances. So, body weight goes up, farmer carry weight goes up. We are moving on to our open men's middleweight class. These boys are 231 pounds or under at the time of weigh-in. And they're going up to 245 pounds in each hand. So they're carrying one of each of them, one of each of them in each hand, and then some. No big deal. I think we're going to have another situation where we've got 3 heats of 3 competitors. So weights loaded on the bar. I think we're just validating a couple last things here. Your first competitors are going to be Roman Kloin, John Bresnuk, and Rob Segel? I'll just say them all, and one of them will be right, and then that's the one we'll go with. We're going to see the last event for our open men's middleweight class here. 231s. Rob, John, Roman, right to left.
All right, athletes ready. Judges ready. Go!
These athletes have 60 seconds to complete as many 50-foot laps with 245-pound farmer's carry handles in each hand. So not 245 total, 245 in each hand. They must make it the full 50 feet. So you saw an example of the left here. Our athlete did not complete the full lap, so they are done early. See it again in the middle. If the athlete drops at any point during the lap, their run is over.
15 seconds.
Come on, John. Come on, John. Move. Move. Let's go. 5, 4.
Great showing from John, who was on the far right hand of your screen, tied for 7th in this event. Going to push himself forward with that event result.
I'm proud of you every time. I would never not cheer you.
Just want to shout out our volunteers one more time. Resetting. Different methods of resetting farmers carry handles.
Tom and Dylan.
Let's go, Tom.
Come on, Tom.
So we'll have Josh down here.
But still making a great experience for our athletes.
We'll have Tom in the middle. And we'll have Dylan on this far.
Got our next 3 athletes coming up.
For this final event.
Left to right, it's going to be Josh Oakes, Tom Chowinski, and then Dylan Wingard. And we're starting to get into territory, for Dylan's case at least, where only a couple points separate him and 3rd and 2nd place.
Judges ready. Go!
So similar to the last, oh, he's off like a bullet too. Similar to the last weight class, he can play spoiler and climb based on his performance here. Just keeping it smooth and steady is what we're looking for. Tom keeping on Dylan's heels, too. He's putting pressure on him. Slowing down a little bit in the middle. Dylan's slowing down a little as well, but he started so fast that his slowing down is still a great pace. Looking for some strain there now. He's got to turn around and keep moving. He doesn't have much time left. Each step just agonizing. Oh. And Dylan is out. Tom making up some distance. Yeah, he's up and good. Okay, great. Great result from Tom. Smooth and steady. Dylan came out real hot, and that might have been enough distance to propel him up a little bit. Tom held on smooth and steady. Great result in those 60 seconds.
It's going to be a second, fellas, but it's Luke, Corey, and John.
So we're getting our last 3 middleweights coming out here in a little bit. We're going to get the distances for that run. Reset the farmer's handles. And then get our current podium out onto the field here. So left to right, it's going to be Luke Wysensi, Corey Fromile. Shouted him out on YouTube. Cheering back at home. Second place looking to push up into first here. John Tibbs, your current leader for 231 in the rightmost lane. John with an exceptionally strong showing on each event here, looking to continue that dominance and maintain a hold of first place. Everybody else under him trying to shove him off.
Athletes ready. Judges ready. Go!
So we're already starting to see some differences. Corey with a very strong start, a very practiced, whoa, interesting upset here potentially. Corey's got a chance to really shoot up the board here, as John did not finish one lap. Corey currently 5.5 points separating him and John, your current leader. With John's lack of finishing that lap, it exposes a lot of points for Corey. So now the question becomes, how many people finished between Corey and John? And maybe even more interestingly, wow. What a finish. That's a shakeup too, man. Corey was 5.5 pounds behind, 5.5 points behind John. But Luke on the left-hand side of your screen was only 7 points behind John. They both had really strong finishes. It's going to be really interesting to see how that shakes out. I don't think anybody in this class didn't finish one lap. Woo. Yeah. That could be the difference in qualifying spots. Man, oh man. All right, stay tuned or go to Iron Podium and keep refreshing the scorecards here. We'll try to get them in as quickly as possible. We're already through the 200 men insofar as scorecard updates. So keep refreshing and we'll see how things shake up. A couple things to announce from the earlier classes. The open men's lightweight, Adrian is going to be your overall winner with 10 points. Adrian's going to nationals. Open men's middleweight have settled. Pretty tight up at the top, but John Caraway takes it. 43 total points. Matt Papenchak right on his heels with 41. John and Matt will be getting invitation to Strongman Corp Nationals. Gabe filling out the podium with 39 points, only 2 points out of second place. Really close the strongest deadlifter of the bunch. The middleweights, we will give a moment for our scorekeepers and scribes to get everything uploaded and in. But we are going to move on to our open men's heavyweight 265 class. I believe this is going to be another one where we have 2 and 2, so 2 waves of 2 athletes.
All right, so we'll have Dale here, Jason here, and Anthony here.
We are starting instead with our Masters Men super heavyweight. No, I'm learning. We're just doing it live here. So the left 2 lanes are going to be Jason Hughes and Dale Miller, representing our Masters male super heavyweight class. And then on the far right side of your screen, it looks like we're going to kick off the 265ers with Anthony Tesaro. So Anthony making a look his way on the podium. He's only half a point out, so his performance here could make or break the podium hopes. Thanks in the YouTube chat, Ruiz all the way. Let's go, Garrett Thomas, best strength coach in the MAC. Let's do it, Corey. Corey from IL-E. From IL-E. Thank you for the clarification. Anthony coming out of the gate hot. Anthony wants to make his way on the podium here. He just has to hang on and take 1 place away from Garrett, who's right above him on the scoreboard. Jason and Dale are separated by 1 point on the standings, so they're keeping an eye on each other. This may result in a tiebreaker if Dale can edge Jason out. Anthony making steady work, not looking to stop anytime soon. It looks like his grip is locked in. Just exhausted. This is a long day. Ooh. Ooh. A little bit of a tumble in the middle lane here. It looks like he's okay.
10 seconds.
Anthony getting a couple more steps in here. If he can make it to this and turn around and get another inch or so, he needs to turn and lift. Awesome showing, though. Never stopped once. Great work. Whew. So with that, we're going to reset our weights. That takes care of our Masters Men super heavyweight class.
In lane 1. Ready in lane 2.
All right. This is going to flesh out our open men's heavyweight class, our 265ers. So in YouTube, if you're Team Ruiz, this is your time to watch. Going from left to right, we've got Garrett Thomas, who needs to beat Anthony's time here to stay on the podium. James Brady, who wants to maintain his second place position, needs to have a strong showing, and then James off to a strong start here. Rightmost lane, we've got Kyle Reese. Oh, James taking a tumble at the end here. I think he made it past the red tape, so he may opt to continue or not. But I think that might be enough to separate. Well, let's see how Garrett does. Kyle does not seem to be struggling with these weights.
30 seconds.
Let's see what Garrett can do. Garrett needs to hang on to maintain his podium position. Big breaths from Garrett. Kyle's starting to shrug a little bit forward here. This is a long day, a draining day, a demanding day.
5 seconds.
Let's see if we can get their finish. Ooh. Whew. finish from our 265ers. Strong class. Let's refresh our score sheet here a little bit. We do, in our Masters Men's Super Heavyweight class, have a tie. Dale and Jason both 6 points apiece. Stay tuned for how we resolve that. We have our 231. Wow. 231 updates have come in. Corey. Corey, with that performance on the farmer's carry, got almost maximum points. And since John did not complete the first lap, Corey thrust himself into first place. So your men's podium for the 231 class. Luke Wysensi in third place with 32 points. 1 point behind second place, John Tibbs. 1.5 points behind Corey. Corey from Illy. Hope that popcorn was good. Kyle had a great showing. Pretty dominant day. We'll see him at Nationals again. And then Corey rounding out the podium on top, the 231ers. We'll keep an eye on the 265 class, see how the podium shook out. But now, we've got our Open Men's Super Heavyweight, our final class of the day. I think we're going to have 2 heats here. One with 2 athletes, one with 3 athletes. Now, there's some points up for grabs here, too. There are 5 athletes, meaning there's a total 5 points for first. And 3 points separate first and second place right now, Dylan and Bryce. Dylan Schmidt, who's had a very strong day today. Pretty much maximum points, except for the axle clean and press away. Really good showing. 3 points above Bryce. Still very possible, depending on Bryce's performance, to knock him off of that top spot. Now, because there are 5 athletes in this class, first and second place will go to Nationals. So those 2 spots are what we need to keep an eye on. Now, third place is interesting. Joey Conley, 12.5 points, which is 2.5 points behind Bryce. So now that the pace of things has slowed down a little bit, we can kind of talk about the game theory here. Joey, if 3 people separate his performance and Bryce's performance, he could have enough points to put himself into second place and get that Nationals invite. So very real stakes here in this last event. Pretty much up and down the board, which is great. That's what we love to see. Probably 2 more runs here. Thanks for sticking with us. We're about the 3.5 hour mark, and we're almost done with our final event here. This has been just an exceptionally well-run show. We're going to have Connor Elliott and Grant Moore as your 2 athletes competing here. Connor and Grant only separated by half a point too. So this may be the difference in placing.
Athletes ready. Judges ready. Go!
All right, let's see what Connor and Grant can do. Super heavyweight class is 305 pounds in each hand. So 610 pounds total that they are not only deadlifting, they are walking with. No big deal. Just not enough steam for Connor to make it past where Grant was going. Every step, Grant earning it. Not quite enough to finish the second lap, but still a strong showing. Let's see how things shake out with our top three. Starting to thin out a little bit as people in the other weight classes have started to pack up, get cleaned up, ready for award ceremony. Making great time for those that have to travel here. I'm not a meteorologist, but we are watching the winter storm warning that's going to affect this area. So we want to make sure we get our athletes and our volunteers out in enough time to hopefully get home and get settled, or at least make good progress on their way back. Heard on the microphone, this is the last heat of the day. We've got Joey, Bryce, Dylan. Oh, and Dylan is out like a rocket as well. Dylan has to keep Bryce off his back. Oh, and Joey with an early stop. Dylan just has to hold Bryce off. I think he's done enough to not let Bryce back into contention from a point perspective, but Dylan is moving. He wants to put a period at the end of this sentence. Let's go, Dylan. Bryce wants a little bit more. He's got a little bit more. I think Bryce is going to take that event. What a showing.
We'll wrap it up on your
There you have it, folks. That is the end of the day. We'll give a quick rundown. We gave a list of the scores and kind of our winners here at the top. We won't go through each one just because we want to make sure people are packed up and get out of here before the storm starts, the winter storm starts here. But if you go to ironpodium.com or click the link at the top of the YouTube page there, you're going to be able to see the live results from this competition. We've got just about everybody except for who just went updated in here. So to quickly kind of parse through some of them, maybe do some of our open events here. The open men's lightweight. We've got Adrian as our winner. Adrian Calciu. Apologies for pronunciation. Open women's middleweight, we've got 180-pound women. Amy Flowers coming out on top. First place going to nationals with that invite. Cassie Hart is going to be our winner of the open women's middleweight 160 class here. Looking at the 200-pound men's, our open classes, we've got John Caraway with first place, Matt Papinchak with second, and Gabe Velasquez with our third place finish here, rounding out your podium. With our open men's middleweight, our 231 class, tight competition here. Corey from Illy, thank you. First place, 34.5 points, John Tibbs. Second place with 33 points, getting the second invite here, and then Luke, my sensei, 1 point behind, rounding out your podium there in third place. Going over to the open men's heavyweight, our 265 class, Kyle Ruiz with just a dominating day with 19 points out of a possible 20, I believe. So only missed 1 point there. James Brady coming in second place with 11.5 points, followed by Garrett with 10.5. And then our open men's super heavyweight, we just got updated here. Dylan Schmidt maintains his first place finish with 22 points. Dylan's going to get himself down to Texas in a couple months here. Bryce Kersey coming in second place with 20 points, and then Joey bringing up the podium for 13.5 points. So we're going to wrap up the stream here. Thanks for a very efficient day, a great performance from a bunch of our athletes here. We're going to start packing everything up. Once more, this has been Sean Fuller with Dante Petrella Productions, hosted by Aurelius Athletics. You have been watching Polar Express 4. This is the Strongman Corporation holiday event that you just don't want to miss every year. A ton of fun each time, put on by 580 Barbell. Stick tuned to the 580 Barbell Instagram page where they've got updates for the next competition in a couple months. It's the summer event. You don't want to miss the regional event, Battle at the Bridge. There's going to be more information coming soon for that. Other than that, it's all she wrote, folks. Thanks for joining us. We will be back with our next event in a couple months here. Stick tuned to the 580 Barbell Instagram, and we'll have more updates for that. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining us. This is Sean Fuller. See ya.